amazing project to take on and kind of center. And I think that's really wonderful. Abdulhakim, turning to you, we've heard, we just heard about the destruction, about the beautiful mosques that have been destroyed, and sort of with all that destruction and erasure happening, how has daily life for Uyghurs changed over the past 10 years? What is the situation like on the ground right now? And how are international actors, the diaspora community, Western governments, Muslim and Turkic countries, how are they all responding to the crisis that we're seeing? And what would you like to see them do?
For organizer, President Turgunjan, Dolkun Isa, and Zumrat and all the people they working behind the scene. Almost we coming to end of this forum, and we had the chance to hear all Chinese policies, the brutalities. I don't want to repeat every policies, but impact. We can see today in East Turkistan, fear is still there. We had chance to interview the people. They went to our country recently, 3 months ago. We have one guy who is, very religious person in the United States. He visited Urumqi. He got the visa. He went to grave his father. He was not able to make a pray, Islamic pray. He has to stood like a Chinese guy and they give his respect. And we spoke other one who visited again our country. During his visits, his sister was called by the police and they went to concentration camps. And other one who recently visited southern part of East Turkestan, Hoten, where I am from. But his relative didn't want meet with them. They were so afraid, they said, we don't know them. And this is the situation. More than 1 million Uyghur children today went to the boarding school. They ate pork as a Muslim. They didn't have any chance to learn religion or Uyghur culture or any story from the Uyghur heritage or history. They grew up without love their family from their parents, separated. After they graduated from the middle school or high school, they were forced to go to Chinese military. The China CCP want to make sure they are 100% assimilated. This is the young people. For the girls, I still, miss my sisters. One of my sister was born after I left my country. I left my country in 1986. I never saw her. She went to Chinese school. She learned Mandarin. She became nurse. But she is missing. She is in concentration camps. And one of my brother, Abdulhakim Idris, was sentenced 2017 for 20 years. And we didn't know about their children. This is the life. And Uyghurs are losing their wealth. As reported last year, 60% of Uyghurs' farmland, most of Uyghurs are farmer, right? Confiscated. Under the, like a big farm cooperations. So you have to give them. And they were forced to work on own land as a slave. As Dr. Adrian Zenz reported last year, 3.3 million Uyghurs were transferred for workforce, for slavery. This is the data. And the Uyghurs are not able to communicate with each other in Uyghur language because this new Chinese unity law, and since 2017, Uyghurs are forced to speak with each other in Chinese language. And may you know, one thing, we cannot explain this. I was around the world in the Muslim majority country, but I couldn't explain that. 1.3 million Chinese Han cadres were deployed in Uyghur home, Uyghur family. Uyghur family home become like a last place, you can rest. You can teach your children manner, morality, give them love, listen to them, share their pains. But they have to live with these people. This has never happened, and I think in the main country history. We cannot explain the situations. I don't want to, explain how the China CCP as a state burned the Qur'ans, destroyed the mosque, as I said. There is no imam, no community leaders, from artist to soccer player to comedian to even some communist member. Imagine the former governor of so-called Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, Nur Bekri, is still in the jail today. So this is the situation in our country. And recently we get to know the Ethan Gutmann's book about organ harvesting in our country. What he said, this is there, you can ask him. More than 100,000, right? Organs were transplanted. And surveillance, data, gain analysis, all taken from the Uyghurs. So I used to live in Germany. I went to school here. I visited Dachau concentration camps. First time I didn't understand, I say to you, like become me like a museum, right? When this genocide happened, we visited with Russia and with others, we imagined that. This is happening in our country still. It's almost 10 years, still happening today. I want to make a little bit short, our neighboring countries. When something's bad happened to you, as a neighbor, you have the right, to flee. As East Turkistan, we accepted many Tatars, Kazakhs, Uzbeks, Tajiks from Central Asia when the Tsar Russian occupied them. Later, Stalin deported them, right? But when this genocide happened, no bird could fly to Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan or Tajikistan, not even to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and our big neighbor, even India. We have 3 people in India, almost 10 years. We don't know about their face. This is a situation our neighboring country. And of course, we are neighbors with Russia too. And Russia has very bad history with the Uyghurs. They sold the Jongaria empires, right? The first genocide happened that time, and then Ili Sultanate, and then 1940s. Today, we cannot go to Russia too, as a refugee. This is the situation in our neighboring countries. And Uyghurs are Turkic and the Muslims. I already talked about the Central Asian country situation, but one thing I want to tell you, last year and 2024, we were able to visit some of the Central Asian countries. We had a discussion with the Uyghur leaders, with the Meshra people. I was surprised, they were crying. You know why they crying? Not what happened because the Uyghurs on the border, no. They were crying, maybe this concentration camps come to us. This happened to us. They were crying. This is the situation in our neighboring countries. Muslim majority countries, as you know, Organization of Islamic Cooperation supporting China's war against Islam, against the faith. There is a documented, I don't want to waste the time about talking about them. And Muslim governments are aligned with China to support them. And many institutions, independent NGOs, they are choosing China, even scholars. Some of the Muslims are helping us. We are not denying that. But most of them are with the China. I personally was active in we are active with our organization on the Muslim majority countries. I will tell you, we have huge potential in Muslim majority countries. If the people know that, the rulers are not democratic rulers, but they have to listen their people. So they are avoiding or blocking the news about the Uyghurs in their media outlets. Myself went to Malaysia several times. I had the chance to meet with the current Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. I know 100% he knows what happened to Uyghurs. He spent his time in jail. I get to know the people who delivered books and the foods to jail for him. Even we met with his staffs. They know what happened to Uyghurs. But as you discussed before, the Belt Road initiatives, that policies, and China's influence, and if you want to know more about that, you can read my book, Menace, China's Colonization of Islamic World on Uyghur Genocide. We, 2020, already explained what will happen to the Muslim majority countries. And it's happening today to Malaysia. Malaysia is, in the Muslim country, has very good reputation normally, you know. They are supporting all causes. But this time, they were pressured by the China, and then detained me and denied me to entry. This is the situations. And we can talk about the global South country. We were in Latin America, Africa, all these countries. Most of them are subject to Chinese debt trap policies, and China providing them almost for free iCloud system, ZTE, Huawei systems, all even the telecommunications data. In those countries, if you speak, your data will be saved in Chinese iCloud in China. What means that? That means they know about your country's secret, everything, and they can use each other and they control this. We can see it in the CPEC, China and the Pakistan Economic Corridor, and they don't need, you know, to occupy Pakistan. Pakistani army protecting the Chinese infrastructure there, and they are become like a you know, province for China. So this is the situation. And for the democratic countries, I know my time is up. I know in democratic countries, today we live, you know, uncertain time. We have to say this, you know. Every country is working for survival. In the West, in the East, there are few places there are still human rights value exist. In the most countries, they're looking my interest. There's national security interest, their interest. So, in these circumstances, as the Uyghurs, I will go to the solution. Uyghurs, we have to chance to align our cause with the free world interest, with the Make America Great Again interest, mega interest, European Union's interest. When I came to Germany in 1991, Germany was export Weltmeister, right? The export master, they're doing exporting. Today, they become importer. Volkswagen closing fabrics. Why? Because they already transferred their technology to China. So we can make our cars aligned with the interest. Somebody worked in Berlin. His interest is aligned with our interest. So to do this, we almost spent 30 years, 40 years on human rights activities. We speak like a human rights activist, walk like a human rights activist, talk like a human rights activist, right? But we need new people. For example, folks specialists on the AI technology, iCloud. What's mean the surveillance for the world? The medicine technology, right? And financial sectors. Many Western pensions are invested in China's PLA industries. We have to explain this. And we have to have in our with us some folks who understand from economy. We can reach out to unions here in Germany. We can talk to them. You are losing your job because of China. Because China is using Uyghur people as a slavery. Your company not can compete with a company or supported by the government, subsidized by the government, and use free labors. You cannot compete it. So this is the chance for us. And as a Uyghurs, we already began with the initiative our former President Dolkun Isa. We had this year 2 strategic meetings. One in Washington with think tanks, with the government officials, with media, and second is in Cyprus with the Uyghur leaders. We already began to adopt reform in our structure and organizations. How could we coordinate the Uyghur organization with each other? How could we build a huge and good organization and movement and representing the all Uyghur people? We are on this way thinking, but it's not done yet, but we will do it. So this is my talk, and from the 2 days, and we'll talk later, give you some space to speak.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that is a really poignant example of what we've kind of all been talking about, how these violations are not just one-offs. They don't just appear in isolations, that they're all interconnected and they're all part of China's policy to erase the Uyghur people. So it's not just restrictions on movement, on freedom of religion or belief, on the right to be free from torture. It's that they're all coalescing together to ensure China's policy of erasing Uyghur culture. And I appreciate you sharing your story and the story of your sister. Thank you so much for that.
And challenge government, or all of the above?
After 10 years of CCP's active genocide on Uyghurs, as a Uyghurs, we are on turning point, very critical point. Recently, CCP intensified their propaganda. As you know, China spent billions of dollars to spread the lies and hide the Uyghur genocide and what they are doing to Tibetan, Mongolian, Hong Konger, and even threatening the Taiwanese to put in concentration camps. They are inviting visitors from Muslim majority countries. I'm very upset for those visitors. I think they are drinking the blood of the Uyghur Muslims. You know, and sleeping in the fancy hotels. And dancing with the CCP against their own Muslims. How could they claim they are Muslims, you know? If they die, may God, you know, ask them what they did there. I'm very upset for these visitors. And China is, again, using its technology, AI system, and social influence, funding them. from Urdu to Swahili to Arabic to Farsi to Turkish, from Central Asian, they're going to our country talking beautiful Xinjiang, something like that, They are spreading the lies. And then China is intensifying its transnational repressions. Last week I learned one which I know him, I don't want to give his name, is first one was a businessman from Khotan, he was in concentration camps. Recently, China get his money from Turkey, 12 million US dollar. They are not letting anything, outside. So this is very crucial point for turning point for the Uyghurs. And I will call my countrymen, my people, we made for this time. We made for this time. We cannot, give our opinion, what did our parents and the people, If we fail to bring to China in the world attentions, China is portraying itself, friend of the Muslim, right? Peaceful country. And from Washington, from Moscow, from Brussels, from Berlin, from Canada, everybody visiting the Xi Jinping, Beijing become like a Mecca, right? Even in Canada, we had like a law to accept 10,000 Uyghur refugees. It's not reaching to 400 people right now. This is the situation. So it's very important. And it's very important for the world community, interfaith community, for Christian, for Jewish, for Muslim, for the non-believer, human rights activists to support the Uyghurs. If you don't do this, how could you explain or for yourself, what will happen to you next? This is the situation, and I think we should begin from us as Uyghurs, intensify our works, and now our only enemy is CCP. We can show our solidarity with Tibetan, Mongolian, Chinese Christian, Hong Kong, Taiwanese, all the people. We have to expose real face of China, and they will lose their face. They have only hidden face. If the world know the real face of China, they will take action. Thank you so much.
I just